2 more to Kahuraru, racing on the inside of Star of the Night. Star of the Night is eager to get after this group as they try to slow it down, only 4 lengths off the lead, and Lead Away is at the back of the field. It's the Shashala and Jersey Sunset to the half-mile pole. They continue 1-2 with Kahuraru racing a joint third right on the inside of Step It Out. Lead Away is next, and Star of the Night has calmed down a bit for Fresu, has 5 to make up midway on the far turn where the Shashala has been there every step of the way. Jersey Sunset continues to apply some mild pressure ahead back second. 2 more to Step It Out, who could not have asked for a better trip third. Kahuraru is fourth. Star of the Night starts to pick it up, angle to the outside for the drive. Step It Out gets the jump at the top of the stretch, makes a sweeping move and takes command with a furlong left to go. Star of the Night is chasing in second. They're in the final 16th of a mile. It's Step It Out or Star of the Night. Step It Out, Star of the Night on the outside. Star of the Night takes off late, and Star of the Night proves best while wrapped up. Step It Out second. Kahuraru up for third. Lead Away fourth. Set. And they're off. Very even start. Miss Michelada is flashing sharp early speed. Flash That Smile is in between horses, along with Roseanne Rules. Manae just behind them in fourth. Then comes Ionian Gem, 6 lengths off the lead, and Cohart trails. Past the 5/8 pole, Flash That Smile, half-length lead. Roseanne Rules applying pressure second. Manae at the rail in third, and Miss Michelada now fourth, but just 2 off them. A gap of 5 back to Ionian Gem, who is 3 lengths clear of Cohart. 3 furlongs out, Flash That Smile, prominent every step, 3/4 of a length in front. Roseanne Rules gets a little push in second. Miss Michelada third. Manae at the rail is still in the thick of it, fourth, only a length and a half off the lead, looking for racing room at this stage is Manae. And then it's a big gap back to Ionian Gem there at the top of the stretch. And Flash That Smile cuts the corner, goes on by a length. Roseanne Rules, Manae bottled up still. Miss Michelada in the white blinkers on the far outside. They're coming to the 16th pole, and now Manae gets room. Miss Michelada picking it up on the far outside as 4 of them line up. Manae's just in front, and much the best here. Manae wins by a length. Photo for second. Roseanne Rules and Miss Michelada, then Flash That Smile. Diamond Bar Gal completes the line. They're in the gate. And they're off. Vegas Love hopped in the air and is last. September Magic is going out for the early lead. Here's Cheeky Gal flashing plenty of early zip, along with Ace Baby, who is third and only a length off the top pair. Diamond Bar Gal is widest of all. That group is followed by Activated and the Lime Silks between horses. Ready Jet Go is down at the rail. Vegas Love second to last, and Free and Humble trails. Cheeky Gal passes the half-mile pole in front of length to September Magic in second. Then Ace Baby, Diamond Bar Gal continues a wide journey in fourth. They're followed by Activated. Ready Jet Go is down on the inside, just 4 lengths off the lead. Vegas Love and Free and Humble continue at the back of the field. It's Cheeky Gal to the quarter pole. It's been prominent every step of the way. September Magic now applies serious pressure, and September Magic is right on even terms and up to take the lead with a furlong left to go. Vegas Love down the center of the course is starting to pick it up late. Has to get to September Magic, though, who has built up a 3-length lead. Make it 4 now. Vegas Love in the center of the course, finishing with interest, as is Free and Humble. It will be September Magic to score decisively. Free and Humble rallied to complete the exacta. Vegas Love third. Diamond Bar Gal was fourth. Top Gun Classic coming up. We're going to have a good time. And they're off. Honeymoon Suite is very fast away from the gate. We Gonna Have a Good Time comes away in second. Another two back to Perfect D in third. Then comes Chasing Money, now 6 lengths off the lead, followed by Always on Key. Another two back to Airbus and Top Gun Classic at the back. Honeymoon Suite, much quicker than the rest into the far turn, has bounded clear to lead it by 5. We Gonna Have a Good Time is in second, followed by Chasing Money inching up to claim third. At the rail, Perfect D is next. That pair followed by Always on Key, then Erebus and Top Gun Classic. A quarter of a mile to go, and Honeymoon Suite still by himself, 4-length lead. Getting a little tired, though. We Gonna Have a Good Time in second. And now Chasing Money is starting to pick it up, just a little bit erratic as he finds his best stride. They're in the final furlong. Honeymoon Suite, 3-length lead. Both We Gonna Have a Good Time and Chasing Money are coming to get him, though. Chasing Money on the outside. We Gonna Have a Good Time. Chasing Money. We Gonna Have a Good Time. Chasing Money got up. We Gonna Have a Good Time second. Honeymoon Suite third. Then Perfect D. Over. Good luck. 28 minutes. We're in the gate. And they're off. Very tardy beginning for El Chino Vaca. Mutt Dillon is going to the front. General Jackson has some early interest. And comebacking Naval Harbor comes away a joint third on the outside of El Ondeado, who has taken that third spot now. Unbreakable Trust, Code Breaker is in that mix. And just behind them, Easy Breezy. It's 3 more to Don't Get Fooled Again. Then a big gap to Master Jacques. And at the back of the field is slow starting El Chino Vaca. Mutt Dillon with the pedal to the metal, 3 furlongs out, has built up a 6-length lead, chased by General Jackson in second. Here's Unbreakable Trust now moving up smoothly along the inside, and Unbreakable Trust takes third. Matching strides and going with him is Code Breaker as the field passes the quarter pole and turns for home. Unbreakable Trust is now backed up. Top of the lane, Mutt Dillon. General Jackson is in striking range and coming at him with a furlong left to go. Overhauling him now. 4 lengths back to Unbreakable Trust in third. And then it's Code Breaker. It's General Jackson and Abel Lescano pulling away late. General Jackson handridden to a 5-length win. Unbreakable Trust was second. Mutt Dillon third. Master Jacques finished fourth. I'm a joker. Lane acting up. And they're off. Rosalie May broke very nicely and goes straight to the front. Annie's Joy comes away in good order, and I'm a Joker 3 deep. Miss McWhinney is fourth, 4 lengths off the leaders. Then Speed Lane, racing on the outside of Vincero Grande, who is racing 6 lengths off the pace. The 2 trailers, She's Splendid, and Adelie is at the back of the field. It is Annie's Joy. Annie's Joy, the long shot leader, with 6 furlongs to run. The favorite, Rosalie May, is right off her flank in second. Then comes I'm a Joker, taken in hand third. A little bit of restraint there for I'm a Joker, who wants to be closer at this point. Speed Lane takes that third position. Then comes Miss McWhinney, fifth down the backstretch, 5 lengths off the lead. She's Splendid is next. Adelie down at the rail, and Vincero Grande. The field moves into the far turn, and it has been Annie's Joy throughout. leading by a length over Rosalie May in second. Still 2 more lengths. Speed Lane, I'm a Joker have been battling head and head throughout. A couple more to She's Splendid, Miss McWhinney next, Bincero Grande, and Adelie. Turning for home, Annie's Joy clinging to the lead. In fact, still has something left. A length and a half in front of Rosalie May, who's now set down, though. And Rosalie May is up to take the lead. I'm a Joker becomes the threat in the center of the course. These are the two. Rosalie May spurts away. I'm a Joker into second. It's Rosalie May coming right back for another decisive W. I'm a Joker second. Photo for third. Annie's Joy in a closing. She's Splendid. One more. And they're off. Booksmart and Kingdom Heart are out very quickly. Took Charge comes away in third. Then it's Thornhouse right next to Elwood Blues and Get Her Number at the back of the field. Past the 5/8 pole, and Booksmart is able to get the lead to himself. And he cruises along. Has it a length and a half now to Thornhouse in second. Then it's Kingdom Heart racing in third. Down at the rail, Elwood Blues is in the fourth spot. 3 lengths off the lead and inching forward. Then comes Took Charge in fifth, 4 lengths off the lead and 2 clear of Get Her Number. Midway on the far turn, Booksmart is just in front with company on both sides. Thornhouse is coming through along the inside, and Kingdom Heart keeping pace with them. Another 3, Elwood Blues is losing ground. He is now 5, 6 lengths off the lead. Get Her Number is next there at the top of the stretch, and Thornhouse has come through to challenge Booksmart. They're head and head at the rail. Thornhouse and Tiago Pereira, Booksmart and Mike Smith going at it with Kingdom Heart in third. Coming to the wire, Thornhouse or Booksmart. Thornhouse, Booksmart, Thornhouse. What a game. Gutsy W. Booksmart was second. Kingdom Heart finished third. Was in. In the gate. And they're off. Lovely Idaho with a flyer along the inside, sprinting up to take command at once. Elegant Sway has some speed too and moves right into second. That pair followed by Blevy's Tiger, who's in the third spot, 2.5 off the leaders. Then Nancy Griffith, who broke well, and Sharp Ride has 7 to make up. Then it's Blue Wildcat. The 2 trailers at the back of the field are Berry Valley and Isabel Ludlow at the back. Continuing their run down the hill. And up front, the leader is still Lovely Idaho. It's Lovely Idaho by a length and a half. Elegant Sway is in second, 2 clear of Blevy's Tiger in third. Another 4 back to Sharp Ride and Nancy Griffith, who are next to one another. Blue Wildcat is just outside of them. A quarter of a mile to go. Elegant Sway didn't take that dirt crossing too well, and that leaves Lovely Idaho with a 4-length lead suddenly. Blevy's Tiger now takes up the chase with good strides, though, and Blevy's Tiger eating up the real estate on front-running Lovely Idaho. Lovely Idaho, 2-length lead. Blevy's Tiger on the outside has the mojo. Blevy's Tiger, Lovely Idaho. Here is the line. Photo finish, Lovely Idaho. Very, very gutsy. On the inside of Blevy's Tiger, behind them, it was a photo for third between Blue Wildcat and Elegant Sway. By Armando Ayuso. That's his second winner today. Lovely Idaho, bred in California by Willow Tree Farm Incorporated. The running time, 1:12.74 seconds. In the ninth, scratch numbers 8 and 14. The late double begins in 21 minutes. Supernal to the outside. In the gate. And they're off. Manchild had a very rough start. Moose Mitchell is very quick, but Regal Patriot is even faster. And now here comes Wound Up. So Wound Up and Regal Patriot will duel, but Wound Up is naturally faster and takes command. Geezer comes away in third. They are followed by Harson, racing on the outside of Halo Uncle as they head toward the 3/8 pole. It's another couple of lengths back to Supernal, who's racing next. He has about 5 lengths to make up as they go midway on the far turn. Father Delay is following that rival. Moose Mitchell, who broke well, is next. Then comes Manchild, the 2 trailers, Trusty Rusty, and Melanie's Tiger is at the back of the field with a quarter of a mile to go. And Wound Up is the leader at the top of the stretch. Turns for home with a 3-length lead. Chased on the outside by Regal Thing, and on the inside it's Geezer in third. Another 4 back to Last Call London. They're inside the 8th pole, and Wound Up is unstoppable. What an absolute roll this guy is on. Kyle Frey, the perfect passenger, as they blitz an even tougher group and win for the 5th consecutive time. Trusty Rusty came out of nowhere to complete that exact. It's a photo for third. Three Georges and the Shillelagh. And they're off. Quick start for Got Soul, but on the outside, here comes Three Georges sprinting pretty rapidly, and Valentine's Candy is up and on the pace too. No poking around is going to be part of that early speed, and then comes the Shillelagh, who settles in for tucking in just behind the top trio. Got Soul, who broke on top, is 5 lengths off the lead. They're followed by Prince of Del Mar. Checks on the way is next. A gap of 5 to Dino Dave, and It's a Factor trails. On to the backstretch, and Three Georges is the leader by 2 lengths. Reese Bully has a tight hold of No Poking Around, who is right next to Valentine's Candy. That group is followed by Got Soul, and in behind them, another tight hold for the Shillelagh, 5th, 4 lengths off the lead. Prince of Del Mar is next, followed by Checks on the Way, Dino Dave past the half-mile pole, and 4 back to It's a Factor. Moving into the far turn, they've left Three Georges alone on the front end. It's a 2-length advantage on No Poking Around in second. Then comes Valentine's Candy in third. At the rail, there's pressure for Got Soul losing ground. Dino Dave just went by him with a 4-wide bid. The Shillelagh is still in this thing, has 4 lengths to make up, followed by Prince of Del Mar, and Checks on the way. Wide open, Dino Dave with a sweeping move on the outside as No Poking Around comes looking for the lead with a furlong left to go. At the rail, Three Georges is still in it. The Shillelagh is finding his best drive, and Got Soul trying to sneak through, finally finds room, and Got Soul takes off. Here is Armando Ayuso with a riding triple. Got Soul wins the finale. Second to Dino Dave, then the Shillelagh, followed by Three Georges, and It's a Factor.
It is a spectacular day here in Arcadia, California for a number of reasons. But of course, the very first reason is because it's Derby Day, Santa Anita Derby Day. And the Kentucky Derby favorite, in my opinion, will exit this race, particularly the winner of the race. It might be small in quantity, but it certainly is huge in quality. We'll talk about that race. Speaking of races, what about the thousands of people who have already run the 5,000 race right here at Santa Anita on Derby Day? Congratulations to all of them, many of them sticking around for the races today. And of course, speaking of winners, that's our seminar guest. He played in the NHC out of a field of 792. He finished 22nd. His name's Steve Pollack. Steve, happy Saturday. Welcome to the seminar.
Thanks, Tom. Great to be here. God, we couldn't have a better day. It's spectacular.
It really is. You can see the mountains crystal clear, fast and firm, of course, and all eyes on the nation will be on race number 10, which goes as the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby. But we've got an excellent 12-race card. Before we talk about that, Steve, let's talk about your trip to Vegas. Not a bad payday, in excess of $15,000. Now, the good news is that's what you took home. The bad news is you felt like you probably should have won. You got a lot of bad beat stories like everybody else that played.
Not a lot of bad beats, except for with 4 races to go on Saturday, which is the second day.
Day 2, right.
I had 4 picks left. There were 4 races left. 2 of them were Santa Anita, 2 of them were Turfway. I had all my points at those 2 tracks. I really did well at Turfway.
You zeroed in on both those tracks.
I did, and I had 4 picks left and 4 races that I liked. I'm about an 8-to-1 shot out of the lead, about $20.
Which is really nothing in that format.
It's really nothing. And there was a maiden race at Santa Anita I did like. It was, I believe it was a 2-horse, and he was in a dogfight, took the lead late, ran third at about 11-to-1. The Turfway horse didn't run, and I liked him. And then the Santa Anita race, the leader had the winner, and my horse got stopped. Now, on the gallop out and everything, I don't think my horse was going to win. But it was a first-time starter, John Sheriff's Hector Barrios from the far outside, and Hector did it again with an incredible ride. And the fact that I didn't have that horse, it took a little bit of steam, out of my, I just had so much momentum and such a good feeling that I was going to do it. And to be frank with you, I really did all the work for Friday and Saturday. When I got to Sunday's card, it was late Saturday night. And I walked down there and I just felt like I just didn't have the ammo. I didn't love it, but I did fire prices.
You make a good point, Steve, because only the top 80 advanced to the final day. So you were in a position to basically move up the standings. And so you were in a good spot to perhaps win the tournament, but still $15,000 and finishing 22nd. This wasn't your first rodeo. You've been to Vegas many, many times, either individually or in partnership. You've done well in that format.
I have. It's been about 20 years, Tom. Can you believe it? And I used to see you all the time there.
I'm a working man now. No longer a magazine publisher.
But I haven't played for 20 years either. That was my first time in Vegas in a lot of years in tournaments. I really haven't even been to Vegas.
But you play a lot every day, particularly in Southern California. You kind of prefer turf races over main track races. You play on a daily basis.
I'm playing every day.
Yeah. Well, let's roll up our sleeves because we've got a lot of ground to cover. As I mentioned, we've got 12 races kicking off at noon. And let's take a look at race number 1. I should say, Steve, in race number 12, our final race on today's card, we do have a $20,000 super high five carryover. Race 12, in my opinion, is one of many good betting races on today's card. But in race number 1, let's kind of dissect this race first before we go to break. We're going 6 furlongs in the flat turf course. It's for Calbred, 3-year-old fillies, maiden special weights. The rails today are at 0 feet. Race 1 is also a split of race number 7 on today's card, and race number 1 begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. Right now, as you can see on the tote board, we've got a full field of 12, and the current betting choice at 5-2 is number 9, Miss Practical. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Steve, just a shout out to trainer Doug O'Neill, who trains number 10, Odie's Memory Lane. He won in Dubai earlier today with Raging Torrent. He just missed in the Dubai World Cup with Mixto. Very great afternoon or evening in Dubai for the O'Neill family. Congratulations to all of them. 12 ways you can go here, Steve. Which way are you going and why?
I'm going to go with O'Neill because he's hot.
Why wouldn't you? He's hot. But really, why do you like him?
Very, very good effort from this horse. I thought last time out going a mile and is cutting back in here. Blinkers are going on today, and I think they're going back on actually on this runner. And I think this horse is the speed of the speed. Maybe the horse too is outside. Darlin Tammy with a bug will show a little bit of speed. There's a couple speedsters on the inside. What concerns me about this race, Tom, is I'm a big pedigree guy, and there's some really wild pedigree horses in here.
Let's talk about a few of them.
The 4 Very Smart is out of the dam, Turns My Head. She's thrown some very nice offspring that have run fast numbers on Thoroughgraph on turf. The 2 Horse has some pedigree in there. It's an unraced dam, but some of the offspring have been okay. The 3 Horse Starship Sedona, I really wanted to like this horse. Bob Hess usually puts faster works in his horses. I'm going to put the 4 Very Smart second. I can see this race going a number of ways. 10-4 for me in the opener, but those 3 pedigrees are pretty solid. I wouldn't be surprised to see one of those 3 upset.
Wide open grab bag in race number 1, as you can see, based upon the tote board, that's currently with 64 minutes to post. Let's squeeze in race number 2, which begins the 50-cent early pick 4. It's the first of numerous stakes races on today's card. It's the Echo Eddie Stakes. $125,000 guaranteed is the purse. We're going 6.5 furlongs in the main track for Calbred 3-year-olds. A field of 8, morning line favorite number 2. I'm a Bad Boy from the Luis Mendez barn. Maldonado on this runner as well, just like with the O'Neill runner in race 1. Give us your thoughts on race 2, Steve.
I'm smiling and laughing because I never thought I would see myself do this.
There's a first time for everything.
I watched every tape on these horses, and I can't find anybody that's appealing. I really can't. I don't think I've ever liked a first-time starter the most in a race, but I don't see why the 8 Titanic Thompson.
It's a process of elimination.
It absolutely was. I did. The works are reported good by Andy Harrington, who I do pay every night to get his works, and he's very, very good at what he does. I'm just going with that because I thought he has the most upside in a race where Bro ran well, but it was on the turf. I don't really use turf races to see how they're going to run on the dirt. This is a wide open race to me. I'm going to go 8-7 in a race that I really don't have a feel for. And you know what? Races you don't have a feel for, try to find a way not to play those races or go all.
Exactly. Or play a price, which is what you're doing with number 8 Titanic Thompson. Take note, the jockey Martin Garcia in town to ride today. Of course, Citizen Bull in our Santa Anita Derby feature race. But of course, Martin Garcia, no stranger to Southern California racing. A couple minutes before we're going to break for the changes, Steve, a question for you. You said that you watched all the tapes in race number 2 for all the runners. When you're looking at tapes, and of course you've seen these races and now you're just refreshing your memory, what are some things you're looking for that maybe the weekend warrior, the recreational player, isn't looking for? Are you looking at the jockey's style of riding? Are you looking for subtle trouble, obvious trouble? Like, just give us a glimpse into when you're watching the tapes, what you're looking for.
I'm looking for, is this horse getting a trip? Is this horse getting a good trip and didn't run? That's
a negative.
That's a big negative. Did this horse get a bad trip? That's more obvious. Those are going to get bet. Mostly, a lot of those are getting bet. And I am a bias guy. Santa Anita doesn't have as many biases.
They don't.
Last Saturday, everything came running from behind.
Off the pace.
Off the pace for one strange odd day. So I'm going to be watching those tapes a little bit more. I do keep track of all the biases at all the tracks that I play. Again, Santa Anita not being a big one, but I will look and say, hey, was this horse with it? Was he against it? Am I seeing the right things in the racing form, what they're telling me? Because those lines that they say are not, sometimes they'll say, boy, big trouble. I didn't think so. But
they've got 10 minutes to put the chart out, and we've got the luxury of looking at the tapes for hours and hours. And I just want to circle back to the thing where you talked about horse having a good trip. I'll give you an example, one that I like. There's a duel up front, and the horse is sitting third in a perfect stalking position and can't capitalize on that. It might look good in the running lines, but yet it was really a bad performance, and one that you just said you would downgrade, as would I.
You're supposed to win from there.
Correct.
You're supposed to win from there. My good buddy Ryan Flanders, Trip No Pros, he's going to tell you that every time. He's really good at finding horses. This horse had a perfect trip. Yeah, he won, or yeah, he ran second, but it's set up for him. Should have been there. Maybe not as good as what looks.
We never run second whenever we have Steve Pollack as our seminar guest. He shows up once a year. It's our pleasure to have him. We're going to find out who he likes on the remainder of the card. We've got 10 races to go. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and find out who the early scratches are on Santa Anita Derby Day here at the Great Race Place.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Derby Day at the Great Race Place, Santa Anita Park. The track is fast and the turf is firm. The rail on the turf is at 0 feet. Here are the early changes on today's program. The first starts the early pick 5 with a couple of blinker notes noted in your program. Race 2 starts the early pick 4, the Echo Eddie Stakes. Number 7, Bro make the jockey Kazushi Kimura. Kazushi Kimura rides 7 Bro in race 2. Turning to race 3, no changes. The 4th is the Phasic Tipton Santa Anita Oaks. Scratch number 1, look forward. The 5th is the Monrovia Stakes, presented by Don Julio. No changes. Race 6, the Evening Jewel Stakes, scratch 3, America's Mark. Scratch 8, Gold Currency. There is a middle pick 4 that starts with race 6. Scratch numbers 3 and 8. To the 7th race we go. It's the start of the $2 pick 6. Scratch number 11, Babe Kelso. Race 7, take out the 11. In the 8th, start of the late pick 5. Number 11, Far From Loaded, 1 pound over. In the 9th race, Santa Anita Park welcomes Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. It's the beginning of the $3 all-turf pick 3, as well as the 50-cent late pick 4. Scratch number 5, Brazenly, the 13 draws in. The 10th, the big one, the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby. There are no changes. In the 11th, scratch the also eligibles, numbers 13 and 14. The late double starts with the 11th. And in race 12, super high 5 wagering is offered with no program changes, but keep in mind, there's more than $20,311 in that super high 5 carryover. Nobody hit it yesterday. Enjoy a beautiful afternoon in Arcadia. Welcome to Santa Anita Park, where we offer the Coast to Coast Pick 5 on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Combining races from Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita Park with a low 15% takeout. This wager starts today in just an hour and 42 minutes with Gulfstream's 6th race. Now we go back to Quigley's Corner. His special guest is horse player Steve Pollack.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with horse player Steve Pollack. It's our pleasure to have him today. He shows up usually once a year and is my guest. He always gives out good priced winners that hit the board and many times often wins. You'll find out as we continue our analysis that he has a number of good priced horses today, backed up by some replays we're about to show you. But before we do that, Steve, we've already taken a look at the first 2 races. So let's take a look at race number 3. We're going 1 mile on the turf course. It's an allowance optional claiming race. Non-winners of 1 other than. It's a field of 8. Number 8, Beef Winslow, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. But if you have the program in front of you, this race is named in honor of Jason Levine's Inside Racing. That's near and dear to your heart. You're a correspondent on that show every Saturday morning. You and Jason have been doing this for quite some time.
I've been on it over 13 years.
Unbelievable.
With him. I can't believe it's that long. Boy, Jason's done a great job with the show.
It's a 60-minute show that basically is nothing other than handicapping the horses.
Pretty much. Jason does report about what's going on a little bit in the game.
State of the Union. Yeah.
Sure. And then we really, my little segment, I do 15. I tell everybody I work 15 minutes a week.
At least publicly. Behind the scenes, I know you're working a lot more than that.
It's a little longer than that.
You spent more than 15 minutes analyzing this race number 3. We've got a field of 8. Who do you like and why, Steve?
I'm going to go with Paxil Wallop. Tom, you're going to see a lot of horses that I like today that have run negative races. In the last race, this horse ran against a horse named El Patente.
Superstar from the Dan Blacker barn.
I really was disappointing that El Patente had a scratch a couple of weeks ago. And I tell you what, he looks like he could be one of the best horses turf horses we've had in Southern California. A race like this will really become buried when you use sheets. You use Ragozin, use Thorograph, and I actually use both, Tom. This horse actually ran the same race that he ran in the previous race where he ran against these type of horses, and he ran second. They gave him the same number. And if you watch the wide trip against a really good horse, it really muddles the form. I'm just looking for Tiago to get this horse a good trip. Boy, has he been impressive. Yesterday, a really big ride yesterday.
His agent, Craig Stephen, has done an excellent job with him so far this winter meet.
Absolutely has has been able to stay patient on the inside. He'd get really antsy on a horse. The horse wouldn't respond and he wouldn't go through. I think he's really gotten better with that. And I really want him to try to save some ground on this horse because I believe the big speed in the race is the one, Jeweled Shillelagh. Unbelievable that this horse got run down last time.
I had him. Don't remind me.
I'll tell you what, even Frank, what a race caller we have, right? Frank is incredibly talented, and he called it over. He actually made up for it with the way he called it late, and he called it properly when Jeweled Shillelagh got run down. Big rider change for Jeweled Shillelagh. They're going to have to catch this one today. I'm hoping Jeweled Shillelagh gets a little bit in front and Pax a Wallop can maybe move over. I'm not a huge fan of some of these closers. A guy named Joe, the 3-year-olds that were running, although Formidable Man did come back and beat Older, I don't think they were the best horses down at Del Mar this summer. So I'm going to play a little against a guy named Joe. Maybe he'd be someone I would use in the try on the bottom. But for me, it's Pax a Wallop and Jeweled Shillelagh, 7/1.
Perfect. Let's take a look at the Santa Anita Oaks. It goes as a grade 2 event in race number 4, going a mile and a 16th on the main track, of course, for 3-year-old fillies. Scratch the 1, look forward, leaves us with a field of 5. The heavy favorite, number 4, Tenma, who is undefeated with blinkers off. Even money on the morning line. Trained by Bob Baffert. As obvious as that, Steve?
I think it is. Tom, I don't know if you're going to be close to even money. It's going to be way less than that. Unfortunately, even money, I think, would actually be a good bet on this horse. Don't think you're going to get it. 4-2 for me. And, the only thing I could say about Tenma that may be positive for the future is with everybody being bet down on Baffert at Churchill, maybe this horse wins this race. Maybe she can go on and be somewhat of a price in the Kentucky Oaks. Maybe 4-1, which would be pretty good on her. But she looks pretty darn good to me.
We've got a number of races coming down the Hillside Turf Course, including race number 5, which is the grade 3 Monrovia. It's for fillies and mares, a field of 6. Number 6, Queen Maxima, who's on a win streak for Jeff Mullins, is the 4-5 morning line favorite. More chalk here, Steve?
It is more chalk, Tom. I tell you, Queen Maxima is so good right now. I'm thinking that if they're thinking what I'm thinking, that they should be running the Breeders' Cup later on this year. Her 5-furlong race, her first race of her career, was unbelievable down at Del Mar. She has all the talent in the world. She has a great draw in here. She's tactical. She's going to be an absolute handful. And I think Queen of the Mud would be my second horse because she's going to get first run on Van Gaza. This looks like a chalk race again. 6-4 for me in the race down the hill. Another
stakes race in race number 6, which begins the 50-cent middle pick 4. On today's 12-race card, Santa Anita does offer a 50-cent middle pick 4, and we kick it off sprinting 6.5 furlongs in the main track for Calbred 3-year-old fillies. Scratch the original morning line favorite, number 3, America's Mark, as well as number 8, Gold Currency. That leaves us with a field of 7, and the likely revised morning line favorite is going to be number 4, In the Air Tonight from the Steve Knapp barn. This looks like it has a little bit of price potential, Steve.
It does. Unfortunately, my horse was 6-1 morning line. Now I'm worried about what the price is going to be. I think the scratch is a good thing for it. Maybe Night with Lois ends up taking the lead. I like Hot Walk Girl to 6. She's going to get a great trip on the outside. Sometimes these horses come back as a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, and they run a negative race because they're on a different surface. And I'll tell you, a lot of these horses are coming back on these surfaces because we're running so many grass races and we don't have a lot of these races. So maybe Hot Walk Girl wasn't just an experiment. She looks like she's really bred for dirt. Why would they try that race on the turf? Maybe there's just nowhere else to run. Now she's got a race in her. Carla Gaines, terrific trainer. I think you're going to get this horse is going to have tactical speed. Loved her races as a 2-year-old down at Del Mar. I think Hot Walk Girl runs very good in here. And Sunset Grayson, I think it's a negative for that horse. That's my second horse, but I think it's a negative for that horse that the speed, the Gold Currency scratches. There's a little less speed in here. She's still going to be my second horse. 6-7 for me in race 6.
Steve, let's focus on one thing you just brought up to become a better handicapper, and that is being able to excuse poor performances. And you made a point already that because perhaps it's not the horse's preferred surface, you're willing to draw a line through it. The best example I always use is Point Given. He was easily the best 3-year-old of his crop. He ran a clunker in the Kentucky Derby, but yet that was still a player's best friend because in the Preakness and the Belmont and the Travers and all the subsequent races, people were still thinking that he wasn't the best 3-year-old, yet in fact he was. You have to be able as a handicapper to be willing to excuse bad performances.
We're going to do that down the road here on some big price horses. You've got to be able to give an excuse. One of them we're going to show if you can find it. And sometimes it's just the surface. Sometimes they just needed a race off the layoff. And that's how you're going to find price horses. If you're going to play the horse that ran the best race last time out, you're going to end on the favorite a lot of times. And I don't think you're going to end up ahead.
Wayne Gretzky's name has been in the news lately because his most goals scored in his career is about to be surpassed by a Washington Capital. But Wayne once had a great quote that I always apply to playing the horses. Wayne said, they asked him once, what made him such a great goal scorer? I don't skate to where the puck is. I skate to where I think the puck is going to be. And I use that as an analogy for handicapping, because most handicappers just look at the black and white past performances and assume what they see is what they're going to get. You have to extrapolate that, just like we were talking about, being able to excuse bad performances, thinking that a horse stretching out for the first time is going to be able to get the distance. You can't just take what's at face value in the racing form. You have to. It's kind of like a thinking person's game.
Absolutely, because what are you looking for? You're looking for value. We could spend an hour talking about that, and that's how you find it. You got to read between the lines,
and that's how you beat the races as well. Race number 7 begins the $2 pick six. Did you see yesterday's pick six pool at Santa Anita? We had $100,000 carry over, $1 million of new money. Thanks to all of you who contributed to that pool, and congratulations to the winner. But we start fresh today with a new pool, kicking things off in race 7, which is a split of race number 1, as I mentioned previously. We're going 6 furlongs on the turf course for maiden special weight Calbred 3-year-old fillies. Take a look at this field. There is one scratch. The 11 still leaves us with a field of 11. Number 1, Say Bella from the Sean McCarthy barn. Down on the rail with Tyler Bays in the saddle is the 5-2 morning line favorite. Beat the chalk here, Steve?
You know what? That horse did run a nice race, but I do not like that rail draw right now for these horses, and that is why I'm going to take a stand against this horse.
Nothing against the horse. It's more like a post position.
It really is. I tell you, it's even worse at 6.5 furlongs, but it's just not a great spot here, and it's so funny. You have to really realize where you're playing. Delmar 1, 2, 3 is you got to look 4 times, 5 times at those 5 furlong races at that inside post. It's so much better to be inside than it is. But here it's not. I'm not a huge Tyler Bays in this position fan, and again, the race was good. I'm going to try to beat this horse. I thought 2 horses were very similar in here, so I'm going to go with the higher price horse. And one of the reasons that I like these horses is because the breeding in this race was nowhere near. This is a split division, Tom, of the first race.
Yes.
And the breeding in this race, there aren't really any X factors for me. I just didn't like the pedigrees on some of these first-time turfers like I did in the first race, which is a concern because I thought, boy, there's 3 of these horses that could beat the horse that I think is run the best. So I like the 10 and the 7, again, about the exact same. I'm going to go with the 10 because of the morning line price. Love the way Ayuso has been riding. I love the cutback here, too, for this one. A very good effort. Polling last time, and you see in the racing form, and I did watch the tapes on this horse, has not relaxed as well. I like the outside draw for that kind of a horse. I think the rider switch is a good thing with Ayuso. He's so strong, and this guy is really an up-and-comer, and I love the fact that every time he gets off a horse, he ends up hugging his family. He's just such a good all-around guy, great energy guy. But Maria Tall Chief going to be my top horse. Very little separating this one from Less is More. This is the kind of race where I like those 2. If Less is More ended up 7-1, Maria Tall Chief ended up at 4-1, I'd do the switcheroo here. But I'm going to go 10-7 in a decent-looking maiden turf race for me.
And the morning line odds on Steve's top 2 selections, 10 and 7, as you mentioned, are 6-1 over 5-1. Those are certainly good betting type of prices. Race number 8, Steve, begins the 50-cent late pick 5. Once again, take a look at this field. A field of 13, sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track for maiden special weight Calbred 3-year-olds. Take note number 4, Silver I Am, is a first-time gelding. The morning line favorite is number 7, Beer Buzz, the second-time starter from the Craig Delassie barn. Kyle Frey in the saddle, 5-2 on the morning line. What say you about race 8?
Hey, good effort from this one. One thing I'm going to add, and I did write a little note to say this, know where your weaknesses are.
As a handicapper.
As a handicapper. For 40 years, I've been trying to handicap maiden races and be really good at it.
Are you waving the white flag on the show?
I'm not waving the white flag. In fact, my good friend and partner, Jim Meeks, who's a Hall of Fame handicapper, he's been working on stuff to improve in maiden races. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's just like, I've got to improve in these maiden races. He uses
and the way you know that is by keeping close records of what you're wagering on. You're never going to know unless you keep track of what you're wagering on.
Well, I know. I know these races have always been my nemesis. I've had a lot of pick 6 losses where I walked out of the track going, man, I could have made a 5-figure, 6-figure score that I didn't make because of a maiden race. So I know where my weaknesses are. I like maiden turf races because I have that extra angle. I know that pedigree stuff works. I do get Andy Harrington stuff every night, especially on a good card like this one, and he's a great clocker. I still have difficulty with these races. That being said,
with that caveat, who do you like so we can draw lines through?
Exactly. Maybe that's the way to go. But Western Freedom, I thought, ran a very, very good race first time out. The maiden 50 state bred doesn't really bother me in the rise here going to an open or going to a state bred straight maiden race. race. I think this horse will get good position. I like the rider. A couple of nice works. What bothers me a little bit is this horse did vet scratch on 2:15. Maybe that's why the horse had a little bit more time. And Beer Buzz's race was pretty good. Those are my top two in here. I'm going to go 2-7 again in a race that I'll probably pass and try to play around, maybe some sort of an all-turf pick 3 at the end.
I have one additional comment on Steve's top choice in race number 8, number 2, Western Freedom. As you well know, if you watch the seminar on a regular basis, I keep pretty detailed notes in Formulator so that whenever these horses run back, I can refer back to them. Western Freedom in his debut, he actually lost to a maiden special weight dropper. Checks on the Way was dropping out of maiden special weight. That probably upgrades the fact that actually he debuted for maiden 50 and now runs for a maiden special weight. Race number 9 begins both the 50-cent late pick 4 as well as the $3 all-turf pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. And race number 9, we're coming down the Hillside Turf Course. This race is named in honor of Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. Welcome to all of those individuals who are visiting today from Yamava. And we've got another full field of 12. Scratch the 5 brazenly. That does mean number 13, Wind Ribbon, does draw into the race. The Maury Line favorite, number 4, Uncle Chili at 3-1 on the Maury Line. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Steve, this is one of the replays we wanted to watch. We wanted to watch the replay back on March 8th. Uncle Chili will actually be breaking from post position number 2. But be wearing saddlecloth number 4. So just follow the runner wearing saddlecloth number 4. Pay attention to his entire trip. You can see some comments already in the comment lines in the past performances, but seeing is believing. So let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action back on March 8th and watch the runner carrying saddlecloth number 4, which is Uncle Chili.
And they're off. Hot Box is hustled hard for the early lead. Also showing good speed is Wind Ribbon in the early stages. And they're joined further out by Double Jab, who gets right up to take second. At the rail, Uncle Chili steadies a bit and shuffles back. Potito, who broke slowly, is now moving all the way up to claim the 3rd spot. Chrome Flash between horses with Havoc right next to him. Down the backstretch, Double Jab takes the lead from Hot Box. It's 2 more lengths. Wind Ribbon is very keen along the inside. Potito is in that mix too. Chrome Flash splits the pair and takes 3rd around the turn. Havoc is following that path of Chrome Flash, and 2 more to Uncle Chili. They come to the quarter pole. Double Jab. Hot Box re-engages, switching to his outside now. Chrome Flash in 3rd. Wind Ribbon is down at the rail. Havoc swings into the outside. They're an 1/8 of a mile from home, and it's Double Jab who's built up a 4-length lead. Chrome Flash takes up the chase. Wind Ribbon is down at the rail, 16th pole, and Double Jab. Here's another for Armando Ayuso. Double Jab wins it by 3.5. Uncle Chili really took off late to get second. 3rd.
As you mentioned, Steve, track announcer Frank Miramati doesn't miss much. And as we watch the gallop out here into the clubhouse turn, Uncle Chili, you saw, did catch Double Jab. But unfortunately, Uncle Chili early on, if you were paying attention, kind of jumped the main track coming out of the starting gate. Had all sorts of trouble, which would excuse that second place effort.
It would, and I love the gallop out.
Yes.
The thing about this horse is he's going to be a shorter price. He's still got to prove that he can run down the hill. He's still got to go that extra half a furlong. And to me, it's more than a half a furlong on a different configuration. So I just want everybody to be aware that this is clearly the horse to beat. I've got a really good price horse in here that I really like today.
Talk to us.
And that horse is drawn way toward the outside. Actually, the 13 got in. So we're going to get the 11 post with the 12 horse Catman Sue. I won't start singing Bob Seger for you. I promise. I don't want to embarrass you.
Only off air.
I tell you what, this horse ran really well first time on the turf. I really like that race. That race was a very good tape. I could have shown you that tape. That was quite long ago. The next race, this horse just didn't fire his best shot. I love the fact that they put the blinkers on in the long race, which tells me they're not going to get as far behind. I think this horse will be able to track what's an abundance of speed from a perfect post. Those outside posts, again, we talked a little earlier, that outside is inside, coming down the hill.
Yep.
And you got the best guy to save the ground and then cut the corner and get himself right in behind the speed. Also, this is a 4-year-old coming off a layoff. When 4-year-olds come off a layoff that are pretty lightly raced like this one, that's the time when they improve. And what you want to do
physically and mentally.
Physically, mentally, and what you want to do is you want to say, who's this trainer? Who's training this horse? Well, it's Jeff Mullins. Right now, his horses are running great. Who's riding this horse? It's Hector Barrios. He's putting all the horses in the right spot. He's cutting all the right corners. This is going to be a corner horse. We're going to cut the first corner, and hopefully we're going to be able to be right behind the speed and cut the second corner. Maybe he's going to have to go wide. I don't know. But I love that outside. And I think this horse Fresh can really run a good race at a big number. So
15-1.
I know we got to beat Uncle Chili. He was very, very good, but I think this horse has a chance. There's another thing I like about this race. A lot of these horses come out of the Chrome Flash race that 2 races ago that Ghostly Act won. Ghostly Act was on the wrong lead for 3/4 of the stretch and finally switched leads and exploded late and beat these horses. You got 4 horses coming out of that race when a horse that won the race wasn't all that impressive. That's 4 or 5 of the horses that are in this race. That makes me feel like a new face can win. We've got 2 new faces in this race.
Race number 10 is our feature race on today's card, of course. It's the Grade 1 St. Anita Derby for 3-year-olds going 1 mile and 1/8. We've got a field of 5, many of them very talented. The winner likely to be the Kentucky Derby favorite come post time. Also, here's a statistic courtesy of Brad Free from the Daily Racing Form. 10 San Felipe winners, and that would be Journalism, who won the San Felipe, have been favored in the St. Anita Derby, and Journalism is likely to be favored here. Of those 10 San Felipe winners that have been favored in the San Anita Derby, 5 wins and 4 seconds, 9 for 10 either first or second. That shouldn't come as any surprise because obviously Santa Anita has a great stake schedule for 3-year-olds on their way to the Kentucky Derby. Journalism is 6-5, Citizen Bull is 9-5. On yesterday's seminar with the aforementioned Andy Harrington, we watched all the workouts. It was great to watch those workouts, but I want a different opinion. Who do you like? Let me say it one more time. Who do you like in this race?
I like those 2.
I think most players do.
They both were outstanding. I don't see any real reason to take a horse like Barnes to improve that much. Baeza is very well bred. I see the breeding. I'm a big believer in breeding. That dam to throw door knock and Mage is amazing.
She's a blue hen.
That is incredible, but it's still going to be difficult to beat these 2 horses. I think one of the keys in the race is Westwood. Are they going to send this horse? Sheriff's got 2 in here. It's the same owners. Are they going to send Westwood after Citizen Bull? If they give Citizen Bull an easy lead, he's very likely to win this race. Tough race to bet because I don't think it's easy. I don't think it's just like it's definitely one of these 2, but I'm going with Journalism on top of Citizen Bull and going to be a huge fan watching this race. Probably thinking in terms of maybe playing the all-turf pick 3 instead of playing the late pick 4 that I play every day.
Race number 11 starts the $5 late daily double, another wager with a reduced 15% takeout. Once again, we're coming down the hillside turf course for fillies and mares, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Scratch the 2 also eligibles, 13 and 14 will not compete. Still leaves us with a good field of 12. The morning line favorite near the bottom, number 10, Nini Diamond from the Red Hot Mark Pipey Barn. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Steve, we want to watch 2 replays. The first replay we're going to watch is for number 5, Miss Roberts. If you turn to your racing form, we're going to watch Miss Roberts perform 2 races back. This would be the race back on February 1st. She's going to be wearing saddlecloth number 7. The first thing you're going to notice, she wears black silks, is she breaks really poorly and trails the field and puts in a ferocious late kick with trouble as they turn for home. So let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action back on February 1st and watch Miss Roberts wearing saddlecloth number 7.
And they're off. Lovin' on the Run is out alertly. September Magic is up close in the opening stages. And here's Mysticism, who's faster than both and sprinting clear. Run a Mile in My Shoes now a joint second. At the rail comes Wordplay. Miss Monarch Bay is just outside of them, alongside September Magic, who broke on top and is now 5 lengths off the lead. That group is followed by Cornelia Fort, who is 1.5 lengths in front of Not a Sinner. Lovin' on the Run just went by that rival, racing 3 lengths clear of Venganza, who is now 10 or 12 lengths off the lead. Miss Roberts is next. Then it's a big gap to the 2 trailers, Great 48 and Duly Noted. They're coming toward the quarter pole and Run a Mile in My Shoes, looming up alongside of this pace setter Mysticism at the top of the stretch. 2 lengths back to Wordplay, angling out for the drive in third. Behind that group comes Cornelia Fort in fourth. Down on the inside, Venganza. Venganza is moving very nicely on the inside, as is from the back. Here's Miss Roberts. Miss Roberts finds the seam and is coming after Venganza. Venganza or Miss Roberts. Here is the line, Venganza.
Steve, Miss Roberts had trouble and lost to Venganza. Venganza runs in race number 5 today. So if Venganza runs well in race 5, I think you have to upgrade the chances of Miss Roberts. You can see on the gallop out there, they were well clear of the 3rd place horse. She's kind of an exciting prospect today based off that replay.
Well, Venganza came back and won her last race again down the hill. And Venganza went inside. Miss Roberts was forced to go outside. You know, that's what we see when we see Rispoli maybe outriding Barrios in that one. And both of those guys are just so good right now. But the last race, you just have to throw that one out, Tom. Look at who she ran against. She ran against Queen Maxima in there, and it was a flat 6 furlongs. She comes back in 21 days in that race. She's got a lot more time in here. For fillies, that is so big. I do not like fillies coming back quickly. Give fillies more time. Look who's giving them more time. Jeff Mullen. So you got the right barn. The works are all very, very solid. The reports on the works are very good. I think Miss Roberts comes rolling today. I had a difficult time finding a second horse in here, Tom. That means I really like the win bet. But I am going to go with Andiamo Rangazza. And the reason I'm going to go with this horse is the race that she ran against Calbreds when Grand Slam Smile won 4 races back on sheets. That race is a real big number in here and is a good race. I think she could be coming back to that race. She finished well last time. I like the rider switch from Carmona to Free Suit. Big price. I think a lot of horses have a chance for second, but I think the winner in here is going to be the 5, Miss Roberts. She's my top play on the card today.
We close out a spectacular day on Santa Anita Derby Day here at Santa Anita in race number 12. As previously mentioned, the $1 Super High Five has a carryover in excess of $20,000. So make sure you get involved in the final wager, which goes to post roughly around 5:45 p.m. Pacific time. And what a great field we have here. A field of 10 going 1 mile on the turf course, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 2 other than. Cathal, number 9, is the 7-2 lukewarm morning line favorite. One more replay to show. Squeeze in. Number 6, Man Among Men, last time ran in a sprint race back on March 15th. Make sure you take note of not only how he was asked for speed early, but also late on the gallop out, how well he performed. So let's listen to Frank Miramaya describe the action and watch Man Among Men in this replay break from post position number 2.
Renegade. And they're off. Go Joe 1. Vlahos has plenty of early gas, and so does Boss Sully. So it's Vlahos and Boss Sully taking over early on. Go Joe 1 third, and We're in Trouble is settling mid-pack 4th. Passed at the rail by Man Among Men. The 2 trailers, Tigeron and Navy Jack. Vlahos is the quickest of the quick past a half-mile pole. Leads at a length and a half, pursued intently by Boss Sully second. 3 clear of Go Joe 1. Man Among Men is down on the rail. They are followed by Navy Jack racing inside We're in Trouble, and Tigeron inches up outside of that pair. Vlahos and Boss Sully. Boss Sully aggressively goes right to the front, and he did it easily. Opening up on Vlahos at the top of the stretch. Man Among Men is in third. On the far outside comes Tigeron. Go Joe 1 in between horses. It's Boss Sully in the final furlong, looking sharp. Has a 3-length lead close to home, and Boss Sully and Armando Ayuso will win with style.
Steve, as we watched the gallop out, when they crossed the wire, Man Among Men finished 6th out of 7th and was wearing saddlecloth number 2. But take a look at good old number 2 re-rallying here. You'll see as we continue to watch the gallop out, the winner was saddlecloth number 4. 2 actually goes right on by. And the reason why that is important there, you can see 2 on the outside continuing the positive momentum. You'll see it in just one moment. But this horse is a router. He's a lightly raced 6-year-old. There he is, good old friend, Man Among Men, galloping out past the winner. I think he's going to adore 2 turns. His 2 career victories are around 2 turns. You like him a lot today at a big price.
Well, he's 2 for 4 at a mile. Okay. And in the sprint race last time, they sent him out of the gate. He's a closer. So, I mean, I realized they were trying to shake things up. Maybe Boss Sully was the only speed, but I think Man Among Men takes back today. I also like Ion Rye in this race. I thought Victor was a little skittish down on the inside. And the previous race, this horse is only a length behind, or a couple lengths behind that runner that we talked about earlier, El Patente. I think both of these horses are live. 6 and 4 for me in there. If you're going to play an exotic, make sure you throw the 9 in. Cathal's going to get the right trip and come running here. But I like the 6 to upset and the 4 to be right there.
20 to 1, Steve Pollack's top pick in race number 12, Man Among Men. One more wager to consider, the $1 Coast to Coast pick 5. It begins today with Gulfstream Park, race number 6. You can see it ends well before our pick 6 starts. 15% takeout, $1 minimum. Steve, we're tight on time. Thanks so much for all your insight. You do a spectacular job. Make sure that you come back and visit us real soon.
Oh, I'll be back for sure.
Thanks to all of you for watching as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a spectacular and wonderful and hopefully profitable Santa Anita Derby Day. Have a great afternoon, everybody. So long.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we direct your attention to the winner's circle and welcome Diana Holly, who will perform the Star-Spangled Banner. Diana Holly is a powerhouse vocalist that has toured the world with artists such as Pink, Kelly Clarkson, St. Vincent, Robbie Williams, Selena Gomez, Sheryl Crow, and Johnny Hallyday. She can also be seen and heard as a vocalist in the house band on NBC's The Voice.
That's pretty good.
Please rise to honor America as we proudly present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Diana Holly, ladies and gentlemen, we will have the treat of hearing her again after race 3 with God Bless America. Welcome once again to Santa Anita Derby Day. You can see we have plenty of activities in the infield. Conditions brought to you by John Deere, the main track fast. The turf is firm. Rail at the turf, 0 feet. Here are the changes. In the first, couple of blinker notes. Start of the early pick 5. The second is the Echo Eddie, number 7, Bro, the jockey Kazushi Kimura. Race 2, number 7, Kazushi Kimura. Early pick 4 starts with the Echo Eddie. In race 3, no changes. The fourth is the Fasig-Tipton Santa Anita Oak. Scratch 1, look forward. In the fifth, the Monrovia Stakes presented by Don Julio. No changes. Race 6 is the Evening Jewel. Scratch 3, America's Mark. Scratch 8, Gold Currency. 3 and 8 out of the 6th, which starts the middle, pick 4. In the 7th, scratch number 11, Babe Kelso. Race 7, take out the 11. 8th race starts the late pick 5. Number 11, Far From Loaded, 1 pound over. In the 9th, we kick off the all-turf pick 3 as Santa Anita Park welcomes Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. Scratch number 5, Brazenly. The 13 draws in. Race 10, the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby, no changes. In the 11th, scratch the also eligibles 13 and 14, $5 late double wagering offered. And in the 12th, there is a super high 5 carryover of $20,311. No changes. Enjoy this beautiful day, Santa Anita Derby Day, here at the Great Race Place. We are 24 minutes away from race 1.
Be a smarter better with First TV, the best horses, with thousands of exclusive morning workouts, all at your fingertips and delivered right into your inbox. Everything you need to be informed. Be smart, bet smart with First TV.